Hello everyone, welcome back to UpEncrypt. Today on the show, we have Himanshu Jain, the founder of BreakIntoVC, a startup that prepares individuals to become successful future venture capitalists and instills in them the skills of finance and entrepreneurship. He began his entrepreneurship journey in his first year of college and got one of his startups shortlisted for the second round of the Theil Fellowship. He has raised over $1 billion along with founders and helped over 2,000 startups through his syndicate. Moreover, he has been a startup mentor at 20+ institutions such as the IITs, the Delhi government, and more. He is defying all odds through his startup and is in the process of leaving an impact in the VC world. During this conversation, we talked about venture capital, venture capitalists, entrepreneurship, startups, angel investing, and more. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow for more and stay tuned for the next one. And without further ado, here is Himanshu Jain. A lot of people don't know what a VC is, so explain what is a venture capital and what do venture capitalists do?
See, I'll be taking it in a much more simpler way,
Yeah.
right? They're just people who are having money and putting it into the next big thing
Okay,
in order to get higher money in return.
right,
That's it, right? So they can be people who invest their own money. They can be people who take money from other people so that they are good at managing money, right?
right,
And they are good at identifying what the next big thing is. So in a gist, this is what venture capital does. And yeah, there's a lot more things involved, lot more technical terms involved in that aspect. But so that most of the people can understand, they're just finding out the next big thing, what you're making in terms of impact, in terms of the return that can maximize that too.
alright,
So yeah.
got it. So are there like any types of venture capitals out there, VC funds out there, which they invest in?
So I'll tell you, like, what happens is you can say types of funds that are there, right?
Right.
VC would be a part of it.
Okay.
So there are PE funds that are there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just private equity funds. There are VC funds that are there. There are family offices that invest,
Alright.
right? So what these are, like, private equity is generally coming at a later stage,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe investing a large rounds, maybe $100 million, $200 million, $300 million.
Right,
These
right,
guys.
right.
And when you talk about VCs, they are also divided into micro VCs, late stage VCs, growth stage VCs.
Mm-hmm.
So they're also coming into different aspects with different check sizes and different stage of a company.
Right.
And family offices are those guys, like who have made certain money
Mm-hmm.
due to their ongoing business or the business which they have,
Mm-hmm.
and now they are looking to invest that money into startups.
I see.
So they set up a unit of their you can say family, where they manage all the money and they invest into different asset classes.
I
So
see.
that's where the family office comes into the picture.
Alright, so different funds for different things out there. Alright,
Yeah.
got it. And like, what's the process of doing this? Like, you just go to a VC and just asking for money. Like, how does that happen?
See, frankly, it is like that only. You go to a VC, you ask them for the money, but the thing is, you should be very well care about which VC you are going to, because there are sector-specific VC funds also.
Right.
Like, they are only investing in EV space, right? So you cannot go out to them and ask for the SaaS-based startup which is not belonging to the EV thing.
Right.
And apart from it, when you are reaching out to VCs, going ahead and asking for the money, they have their own thesis, right? They have their own criteria of investing in the money.
Right. Yeah.
If you are coming out, maybe I invest in, like, their debt funds also, right? So you have to go through their websites, you have to understand what they're thinking, how they're thinking. And apart from money, will there be a better partner to you in your business? That's what matter more is,
Right.
because you're partnering with them, right? You're giving the ownership to them. So it matter is, like, you should be having some tune in between. Then only you can get them on board and then can ask the money for.
That's great. So you have this company called BreakIntoVC. I mean, the
Yeah.
name pretty much sums it all, BreakIntoVC. But what is BreakIntoVC and what was the inspiration behind starting BreakIntoVC?
So I have been involved in startups previously a lot, right?
Right.
I have failed multiple startups. I have raised capital in one of them.
Right.
One of them got into Theil Fellowship second round.
yeah.
All of that happened too. So the thing was, I found intrigued by the investment space in the previous startup when I was building the same. So where I built an investor network where I, from scratch, I didn't knew there is something known as investor network.
Mm-hmm.
I used to reach out to people and say, you know, sir, please come on to us because please be a partner in my startup. And they were like, he wants to dilute 50% equity. And I was like, no, no,
Oh.
no, no, no. I just want you to be a part of the pool of people who are investing into
Right,
money.
right,
So
right.
someone told me that is known as investor network, and I said, okay, that's the thing. So that's where I got intrigued, and it took me 5 months to break into VC,
Okay.
right? To get into venture capital,
Right.
despite I had an investor network,
Mm-hmm.
despite I had like the knowledge, I had done startups previously still.
Right,
So I was very confused, right? What does these guys actually need then?
right,
What is the thing? What is the structure that it's happening all around, and which facilitated, you can say, the journey of break into VC?
right, right.
Was that I ran an experiment on one of my friend to I said I'll help you break into VC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was a tech guy. He didn't know anything about debit, credit, or what the thing
Right,
is.
right, right.
And that was the hardest challenge. If I can get him into the VC space, I can
Mm-hmm.
get anyone else because on this 5 months, I had prepared kind of a blueprint where
Right,
people can just follow that and get into the VC space.
right, right.
And I helped him to go through that blueprint. It took 2 months, and he is in VC. So he
Wow.
was a tech guy, and during his college,
Mm-hmm.
for me it was post college. It took me 5 months, right?
Wow.
So that thing happened, and that once that thing got validated, I was like, now let's I have the things to scale it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where one other guy come in. He was also like, uh, a normal, you can say, off college guy, doing BCom program. And he said like, I also want to break into VC. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
what is a VC? He said that you will teach, right? So I said, cool. Now I'm understanding bit of my target audiences,
Right,
right?
right,
So, but I would say the same blueprint that I gave him, it got more, you can say, better
right,
while helping my friend, and due to which that guy also was able to break into VC within a month.
right, right.
So the time has reduced from 5 months to a month now.
Wow. That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
if I tell you in numbers, like there are around 3 lakh opportunities in IT sector, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because there are a lot of IT companies.
Mm-hmm.
But according to SEBI, there are just 1,035 funds, including mutual funds and all of these kind of funds.
Mm.
Average VC have 12 people in their company,
Yeah.
including MDs.
Mm-hmm.
If I somehow consider like all 12 guys are on hire, right? Even
Right.
the MDs, then also the opportunities comes out to be 12,420.
Wow.
Now this number is too much smaller as comparison to any other stuff. It's just
Mm.
2.6% of the IT sector, around that.
Right.
So that's the stuff, right? And getting within 1 month, that's a game changer.
That's a
That's the
game
things
changer.
happens around.
I
Yeah,
had no clue about
that
that. I had no clue about that. So I love this. So you verified a skill. So you know that you have a skill to teach. You have a skill for sales. You know that, and then you put that into the whole company. I love that. I love that. So I'm sure you would have had competition. Into VC and all. You have resources online. You have courses. People can do that too. So why would they choose break into VC when compared to the courses out there?
you go out for courses, right?
Yeah.
And you get in touch with them, and you see the guys teaching are you from X Wharton, right?
Mm-hmm.
X these company
Yeah.
these things. And if you come out to me, you see there's a guy who got graduated from a BCom program, a second division guy, right?
Right.
Not even a first division.
Mm-hmm.
And he got in touch with he worked with like a Europe based fund,
Right.
invested in VC funds, right? Guys generally start with the research part in VC funds. I was researching about VC funds to invest in when I started,
Right.
and then also right now helping. So it's not about uh, for me, I consider it like why people reach out to me is because they are able to relate to me, right?
Hmm.
They see it to me like this guy was someone. If CFA is teaching you, CFA guys are teaching you, and they are saying you don't need CFA, right?
Hmm.
You will be like, you have done, bro. You have done, right? Don't say to me like that, right?
Right.
You have done MBA, you are there, right?
Right. Right.
But I'm kind of a living example to them, right?
Right.
Who have done this with those skills. So it's not just about others people have done. It's also about that I have myself done.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that what's relate to the people. That's why I say like I share experiences. I do not share knowledge, right?
Totally get
That
that.
differentiates the thing.
Totally get that. Like even for this podcast, my idea was of to spread, awareness about business, about finance, about technology to people of this generation because they have no clue. So the best way to do that is to reach out to people like you who are in the process of building something. So what do you teach your students in this whole program?
So it's kind of a like a 8 week cohort. It's
Okay.
not a 2 day journey. It's not a 3 day journey. It's
Yeah.
not a week journey.
Yeah.
That what other courses you said,
Right.
right? Uh, the students actually work as each and every position that are there, whether it's an
Hmm.
investment bank, whether it's a VC fund. So they work in each and every position. Like there is a specific week. Like there is a week for deal flow guy
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
where they have to get the deal flows in. And the best part is how they can do so is because I myself run an investment syndicate, right?
Right. Right.
I need deal flows
Right.
for that too. So whatever the deal flow they bring in, they never go waste.
Hmm.
It's
Smart.
the actual, and if they get the funded, they get a share of that.
Wow. Okay.
So it's not just that they are, I'm teaching him whole lot of practical stuff.
Right.
They get every documentation that is needed. They get to build that.
Hmm.
They build that, they present that. There is an ITC committee that happens. That's an investment committee that are there in VC and investment banking firm.
Right.
You know, so all of that committee happens, and this is what all exclusive that is there. Each every position, each and every way that it operates, but not limited to that. At the end of the things, there are guys who have made into that, right?
Right.
There are guys who have been like running family offices funds, who have run Razarpe fund, right?
Right. Right.
All of these guys comes and teach them about how they invest, how their
Right.
investment
Right.
philosophy, right? How they hire, all of this. So it's not just limited to me. I teach them my experiences, how I break into them,
Mm-hmm.
and then they learn how others break into that.
Right.
Whether it's anyone, whether it's any type of a fund, they comes into the picture in this. Yeah.
Wow. So like, what's the requirement to join the cohort? Like, you need to have a degree in BCom or everything, or what's the requirement?
Nothing. Nothing
I
requirement.
love
That's
that.
that's my aim,
I love
right?
that. I love that. Any success story from your VC that got made through something big?
Yeah, so these two guys who have, since I launched the cohort recently, right? I
Right.
ran my first cohort after the experiment
Right.
because
Right.
I want to get at the sense. So even before that cohort end, that guy got placed, right? And
Uh
that
huh.
to a 40% hike that he was previously at.
Wow.
So that was the stuff. And I do teach him like how the things works and everything, but what I admire is that the guy's effort. When he joined the cohort, right? I said him like while I was displaying the things and everything,
Mm-hmm.
like, see, this guy has made into 2 months, right?
Right.
And he told me like I would be the guy who will be ahead of him, and you will post his mine photo in front of him, inside of
Wow.
him.
Right.
And I like that inspiration. That's the inner fire of the guys.
Right.
That's indicate that's what you need, to get into the cohort.
Right.
that's
Absolutely.
that's the prerequisite. So that's the part. So yeah, these guys are the kind of a success story that I say.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else matters.
Right. So would you say that the people who have made big in this industry of VCs and all, they have a superiority complex?
See, not everyone,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but they have.
They have, and that's good. That's important, because the
Yeah.
Alex Hormozy, he's the co-founder of Acquisition.com. It's not coined by him, but he says that there are these three traits of highly successful people out there. The first one is they have a superiority complex. They think they're the best. No one can beat them. Second one is they have crippling insecurity. They think that they'll never be enough. And then the third one is they have good impulse control. They know where to go and how to go there, how to reach there. So if those three traits match with someone, or any two or any one, that person's made for a far.
Exactly. These three things I would say are a bit necessary because success is also subjective.
Absolutely.
You can say that. So whenever you are having these three, I think these three can ensure that the person is going to be successful, but not setting up our expectation as a successful measure to
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's the part.
So how do you stay up to date with your with the curriculum? I mean, I guess the world is evolving and all. Even the VCs will be evolving every single day. So how do you stay up to date with that?
So I'll tell you the recent example. What happened is,
Mm-hmm.
in the previous webinar we ran the first in India. I saw that, right? I
Right.
didn't saw it anywhere else. I think I'm not aware about internationally. In
Mm-hmm.
India, it was the first thing I saw that we ran. It was Break into VC
Mm-hmm.
plus AI,
Oh wow,
enabling Chat GPT to the venture capital space.
awesome.
And not only guys who are looking to break into VC,
Mm-hmm.
the guys who already are in the VC also joined that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was telling, how I use Chat GPT to reduce my, save 2 to 3 hours every
Yeah.
day. That work can be done via that,
Right.
right? The thing is not because most people are not aware about that. That's not the case in the space, right? Because in VC you are dealing with always new technology.
Yeah.
So you are most probably investing in AI, and if you are
Uh
not
huh.
using AI, that doesn't make any sense,
Right.
right?
Right. Absolutely.
So it's not a case with the VC. The case of the VC here is what to give a prompt to AI, how to get the right data, and how to manage that the data given by that Chat GPT is verified and which site contains that, because we have to have that backlog
Yeah.
to support our documents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how to get these data and how much to rely on Chat GPT, that's the another aspect.
Yeah.
So that we should be taking care. So I ran it this thing also, I have been doing the Chat GPT stuff from past 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
And once I got an essence like what prompt to give or what are the things to be built out,
Right.
even I built it out one of an application through Chat GPT, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that too highly, thing that
Mm-hmm.
the code cannot be, coded in such simply manner. So
Right.
the prompts which have to be given, all of that information to be verified. Once I did myself, then I started now, let's democratize that.
Yeah.
Let's synthesize that.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
that's what happened.
Awesome. I love that. What do you think sets a successful VC apart from the crowd of VCs?
See, I'll tell you. I may not be. I'm not a successful VC, right, to
Mm-hmm.
answer this. But how I can answer this, I can tell you in that manner.
Right.
I reached out to around 600, 700 VCs
Mm-hmm.
prior to learn about how the VC space works,
Right.
right, throughout the globe. I got in touch with a lot of VCs, right.
Mm-hmm.
So in VCs, most of the people think the most important thing is to invest in a unicorn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is not a most important thing.
All right.
The most important thing is how you support your portfolio companies,
Hmm.
because it's not 100% short thing that this will company will become a unicorn
Right.
or this will be get acquired, right?
Right.
It's your support that brings the company,
Mm-hmm.
it's your support that helps the company.
Right.
So if you have to be a successful VC, for me, it's always about, obviously there is an essence of selecting companies whom you invest in.
Right.
The next step or the first step is how you support them.
Hmm.
That is the best stuff, because if you're not able to support even the best company, they won't become the best.
Hmm. Right. Right.
That's the core of becoming the successful VC.
I see. I see. And then you obviously have, working hard and stuff like that. That's obviously part of the VC job. I'm sure it would have had it would have been late nights and all. वो सब तो होता होगा in the VC industry. That's a tough job. So a lot of people keep telling me that VC is great, but being a lawyer is difficult. Man, not that difficult being a lawyer, but being a VC you need to have, because you're handling money, and money is a very big thing, and large amounts of money.
In what happens is, like, if I'm working in a VC, I will say a VC is much more harder, right?
Yeah,
If you ask with a lawyer, he'll say
lawyer is, yeah,
law is much more harder.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that happens
definitely.
until unless you love your job, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the most
So that
important
that
thing. That's the most important thing in
yeah.
today's generation.
So that's the point. So I think they both are fun.
Yeah.
They both are same efforts. Even entrepreneurship, VC, everything. The thing is, go ahead and love them.
I
That's
think it's
good.
because people have watched a lot of Suits these days. They have watched tons of what's that web series called Billions. Billions is
Yeah.
one of hedge funds. They watch way too much of that, and they keep comparing those two people, those two characters, Harvey Specter and Bobby Axelrod, a lot. Yeah. So, what are your plans for your startup? Where do you see it in the next 5 years or in the next 1 year? Where do you see your startup going?
See, in the next 5 years, if you see, the VC space is a very small space, right?
Mm-hmm.
it's getting democratized. There are a lot many funds that will be coming up soon,
Right.
right? And this is the blue ocean that
Mm-hmm.
that I've tapped into, right?
Right.
Breaking into VC.
Right.
You won't see any main course or mainstream thing that is happening and that is working.
Right.
That is the most important aspect. So that is the part, right? So in the next 5 years, I see it as maybe getting saturated.
Mm-hmm.
That is the space, because I have already seen 2 or 3 copycats coming up.
Yeah.
Even one of them called me and said, "Let's work together. I was looking to start something like you did." And so that's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
because as I said, like, the number of jobs are limited, the number
Yeah.
of people are limited in this space.
Mm-hmm.
Due to Shark Tank, it has got like everyone wants to become a shark, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that has happened, but that will get normalized in the next year. So I think in the 5 years the space will be a lot saturated.
Mm-hmm.
There would be need for new innovations that will happen, and for us, we would be leading that innovation as we did in AI.
Absolutely. That's great.
That's what I think.
That's great. So let's start with startups and all. Are you happy with the current situation of ideas being generated in the startup industry, the innovation happening, or do you think it has potential for more?
See, startup fulfill the potential for more.
Yeah.
That is the part, right?
Yeah.
So whenever we say about the current ideas that are coming up, see, if there is something at efficiency at 10%, right?
Mm-hmm.
The current idea may take it to 20%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 30%, maybe 100%.
Right.
But the next idea in the same thing will always take it higher, right?
Yeah.
So that is the not case that whether you are happy or not. The question would be whether it's impactful or not. If you take it to 10 to 11%, that nothing uses, right?
Yeah.
If that 1% doesn't matter to your target audience.
Right.
The thing is, even if to take it from 10 to 20%, and that 10% is the change that you're coming up within the next 1 year,
Right.
and that 10% change took 20, 30 years previously to come up,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
That would be a much bigger change. That would be a much larger impact.
Yeah.
So that what matter is. It's not a question of whether we are happy with with this ideas. It's a question of how much impact the current ideas are generating, and
Right.
that's, I think, is a lot.
Yeah.
Because every time, whether you are whichever you time in, the ideas which are coming up are obviously increasing the efficiency of existing processes or setting up new processes that can relive your life. You simplify your life.
Right.
So you ask me what will be missing if I haven't been existed, right?
Yeah.
So I won't say venture capital, I won't say startups, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say the how I hunt the innovation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the people who are in there currently, who are breaking into VCs, right? The whole team which was there and started up, that was my previous startup,
Right.
is now into VCs.
Hmm.
They were clueless what to do next,
Right.
right? Someone was into MBA and someone was getting into tech jobs again, the
Mm-hmm.
CTO and all of that. I founded this spot to be empty.
Right.
I began working on this,
Right.
and that's where whole team came into this.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, opportunity hunter kind of a stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
if you
Right.
think what will be missing is the new opportunity.
Yeah. That's great. And the thing is, it's very difficult to find that opportunity these days. You can't find it very
Yeah.
easily. Even for ideas. To get
Yeah.
ideas, you have to look into problems and all. That's very important.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
actually, the entire industry of entrepreneurship is very saturated these days. So you can't look for ideas for new ideas. You can either, like, the chance of getting a new idea is super low, but you can always build on an existing idea. That's all you can do. And for you, like, you have broken into something that doesn't exist at the moment. So that's very commendable.
That's true. Like, even when I had a conversation, I guess it was Mikhilinani or someone.
Mm-hmm.
He's a co-founder of Pharmacy, right?
Right. Right.
So, or it was Sam Basla, I'm not sure. So one of them said, like, whenever we are coming up with new ideas, it's always about the details out there. Because Amazon, when you are scaling up, you have to miss out the details.
Right.
Because you have to cater large masses, right?
Right.
So the beauty lies in those details. If you fulfill those details, that's when you begin scaling the things up. That's when you start solving the problem.
100%. Definitely. Yeah. What do VCs look into startups? Innovation, or what do they look into?
Team.
Yeah.
Team is the first thing, right? Whatever the thing you may innovate, or whether even you do not innovate anything, right?
Yeah.
But if the guys are someone who can innovate, the guys are someone who may, because pilot happens a lot.
Right.
Time, a lot of times you have to go through when you have to do things which you were never thought of. So the thing is whether these guys can identify those stuff and can execute those stuff at right time,
Right.
because timing is a lot more important, right? The first thing is time, I would say. The second is traction.
Right.
Traction is just kind of a thing. It's validating the first thing that I told, team. Because if I'm saying that I can build this, I would be the leading of the change, right?
Right.
And if I haven't given you an example of that AI space,
Yeah.
that would be, hey dude, that's everyone says that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. Everyone would be like that, right?
Yeah.
So that is that happens. So traction is actually validating the first point. So that is the space. And the third I would see is kind of personally that varies people to people. That may be market, that may be sector which you are in, because
Right.
sometimes third may be timing which is there, right? So it varies from person to person basis on their experiences,
Right.
because everyone has faced difficulties in different thing.
Right.
That's what the third thing varies.
That's wise. That's very wise. If you had to like give, if you had to give one quality in a VC, that's very important. Like without that one quality, a good VC wouldn't exist. So what would that one quality be?
Entrepreneurial in nature,
Hmm.
because you are dealing with those guys, right?
Right.
You are helping them. If I am a person who was not, I'm not saying you have started up previously, right?
Right. Right.
I'm saying you should be having that entrepreneurial nature.
Right.
That's more important. If I'm a typical guy and not having entrepreneurial mindset, I would be pinging that guy every month, every day. That guy, where is my money? What are you doing with that? Right?
Yeah.
That's not how businesses works.
Right.
So you should be yourself entrepreneurial in nature, and that brings us to the most important aspect: portfolio management,
Yeah.
right? Portfolio stuff.
Yeah.
Then only you can support those guys once you know what entrepreneurship is.
Right. 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 You have had previous startups too, right? And I saw on LinkedIn you in your bio, I guess, that you exited one startup for 2.5 cr.
Yeah.
So can you just give a small detail about that startup? What you were doing with
We
that?
closed that startup when the valuation was a little bit more than 2.5 cr, around 2.5 cr.
Right.
And the thing was, I was back in my third year of college, in end of second year in college, that I started building it up, right?
Right.
And that was again I said you in the beginning, like hunting opportunities, right?
Right.
I was on a call with my friend, and we were on the very extreme situations in my previous startup.
Right.
We were not able to find a tech guy. We were not able to raise funds. And though we have got into Theil Fellowship second round
Yeah.
still. So on a call, I said like, bro, this is a lot now.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to solve this.
Mm-hmm.
So that what my previous that startup did. It was basically an ecosystem enabler which helps you in building team, in getting investors, finding right incubation, right accelerators, everything that an entrepreneurs need.
Mm-hmm.
It's a community-led approach to support guys, to support founders in whatever the things they needed. So, I helped over almost around 500 startups at that particular time. A lot of them raised funds, a lot of them connected to mentors, a lot of them failed too, right? Because that is much more important to fail early. If you are stick with your solution,
Yeah.
then you are not able to going to succeed. So that what happened. So yeah, that was the stuff, and we raised a few checks on that too. And yeah, but due to uncertainty in revenue model, since I was
Right,
more
right.
of an contribution side, and getting a bit in uncertainty in revenue model, that we were going ahead with legal things.
Right. Right.
So that's why we had to shut that down now.
That's fine. I mean, that was a great learning for you. I mean,
Yeah, it has
because
been.
of that, you have built such a great company, of course. BreakIntoVC.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Right. How was the Theil Fellowship? Like, how did that happen?
So, see, I have also applied in my Theil Fellowship startup, which got into was my third startup.
Right.
I was applying from second startup into the Theil Fellowship, right?
Mhm.
And I'm very bad at writing
Right.
in English, right? Even in Hindi, right? Because I was a guy in school. The teacher used to give other students, hey, find out his spelling mistakes. I'm not going to do so.
Mm.
That was a kind of a guy. But I can speak wrong English very confidently that you will find it right. So that what I can do is,
That's fine.
so my other co-founder is good at writing, right?
Right.
He's not good at speaking. He's an introvert, total introvert.
Right.
So now we had a combination of a speaking guy as well as a written guy,
Right.
right?
Right.
So the Theil Fellowship, if you say, it's more about, how you, whether you are making progress or not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Thiel is. So when we were writing into our second startup, I just used to write down the application and just leave it for 6 months, eight
Right.
months. But when we did in the third, we used to update it like two weekly, or weekly kind of a stuff, every 2 week
Right.
or weekly kind of a stuff. So that's what made the change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it showed that we are updating, we are approaching. Whether the things are working or not, that's a different aspect. But
Consistency.
we are working on that stuff. That what made the difference. Then we got into the second round, right? And there was, and we at an early stage startup is always thinking making perfect products, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
So that what we were also aiming. So we built out extremely beautiful website
Right.
that you can compare to Apple's website. You have seen animations in Apple
Yeah.
when you scroll down,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
earphones scroll, they expand and everything.
Right. Right.
So we built out a same kind of high level animations
Right.
by two non-tech founders, right?
Wow.
So that what we did. We took it 8 months,
Right.
but the thing was that is not good, I would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't should not spend a lot more time in perfecting your product. We should
Right.
have
Right.
built out the application and all of that stuff. That's what we are stuck. So, but yeah, updating your application is the most important aspect, and doing progress as well as showing progress,
Right.
because Thiel do not know that you is doing progress,
Right.
right? So
Right.
that
Right.
is the aspect.
Right. 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 That's great. I mean, you have Theil Fellowship, then you have Y Combinator as one for funding and
Yeah.
all. I mean, it's great, but then the competition is great in these fellowships and in these investing rounds. But also, it's quite rewarding. Like once you get into these fellowships, once you get into these with these people, you are set. You're literally set because the
Yeah.
guidance you get is immense, is immaculate. What is something you've observed after mentoring 20 plus startups and institutions?
See, the thing is, when they are inviting, or what if you say about observation, right? Everything is good, right? They are helping entrepreneurs and every stuff, right?
Mhm.
Is happening around. But I think they do not know. Still, the thing lacks at the institutions part.
Mhm.
Is the due diligence part.
Yeah.
They do not know whom to invite.
Mm.
Even if I am going out there, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes what happens is they provide startups who are not that much forte in that sector, right?
Right.
So that ultimately not benefit to the startups. And even this is the one thing that is there. Apart from it, they have been doing pretty cool stuff. The entrepreneurship system in India is booming a
Yeah.
lot, but the aspect is again same. If they focus more on the problem, that would be good rather than focusing on solution and competition.
Right. Right.
That's the aspect. Yesterday I was in one of the college,
Right.
and one guy pitched a blogging website,
Mm-hmm.
and he was raising funds for
Mm-hmm.
that. Now, what is the need for raising funds for a
Blogging
blogging
website. Yeah.
website, right?
Right.
You cannot you I'm say all right, raise funds. You might have future plans, right?
Right.
But he didn't started blogging because he will require funds. That is not thing blogging is, right? You can monetize blogging through ads, you can monetize through affiliate marketing, and there are a lot of stuff.
Right.
Just get started. So he hasn't started. So that's what I think is, so getting the things started is more important than just thinking of the things. That's the thing. But yeah, the system is evolving. Entrepreneurship is much at a much higher scale,
Right.
and yeah, obviously it has become much more glamorous.
Right. 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 Varun Maya said this thing in one of his videos. He said that the issue with Indian entrepreneurs are that they don't think about the future, about the next 5 years. What's going to happen in the next 5 years? You can fulfill everything that's happening right now at this moment. You can launch agencies and everything, but the next 5 years are what matters a lot. So, like for example, in tech, you have AI. The next 5 years gonna be great. You have virtual reality. You have AR. That's great. The next 5 years, you have a lot of things that are gonna benefit in the next 5 years, and that's important. Pick on that rather than focusing on what's not present here today, because it takes around 5 years to get a startup to a level where it's very well established.
I would say, like, a bit beg to differ in that. I
Right.
would say whichever the startup scales,
Right.
have somehow thought of not 5 years, maybe 3 years,
Right. Right. Absolutely.
right?
It depends
because
on their niche also,
yeah,
what they're focusing
yeah,
on.
because whenever VCs invest or whenever someone invests in the money, they always ask for 3 years, 5 years projections, right?
Right,
So that's mean the startup is thinking of 5 years, the
right,
startup is thinking of 3 years,
yeah,
right? But the thing is, how deep they are thinking. Because I'll tell you one incident. When I asked what it will be the next 5 years, right?
right,
Someone say we'll come up with AI, we'll come up with that, the
uh-huh.
trending terms, right?
Right,
But this is not how the things
yeah,
work,
they
right?
don't, yeah,
So that's the stuff. So I think whenever you are scaling the stuffs at an initial level, it's okay to not know about next 5 years. When you are building stuff, right? In a building, you start building the things, right? You
right,
have a kind of basic structure the things should be turning out, right?
right,
At a very base level, you may not aware about what the next 5 years is,
yeah.
but once a base is clear, once you have that stuff that this can be built on, then you should be very much clear about what the next 5 or 3 years may be like.
Absolutely. Right now you have no clue. Right now you have no clue. And
Yeah.
it's because of AI that you have no clue about the next 5 years. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I had this interview with Joseph Murad on my podcast, and he is an
Yeah.
AI engineer, and he was saying that you have no clue what's gonna happen in the next 5 years. It might replace, it might not replace, it might enhance,
Yeah.
it might substitute your work. Anything is possible, and it all depends on us
Exactly.
how we use it. Right now, a few days back, I saw my friend coding something, and I told him that why are you coding? Why are you putting so much of hard work into something you can do in a few minutes? There's no
Hmm.
need. I mean, of course, you're learning and all. Learning's great, but you have to adapt to the new tech, the new industry too, because that's the only way you'll actually get afar.
Yeah. 100%, 100% in that case, I also don't like repeating things, right?
Right.
Whether it's processes, whether it's delegating tasks.
Yeah.
Repetition is the most, I would say, the task which I run from because that kills out the time and
Yeah.
everything, right?
Absolutely.
That the things happen. Yeah.
Naval Ravikant says this a lot that you have to focus on time more than money, because you
Yeah.
can get money but not time. So
Yeah,
monetize
exactly.
time more than monetizing money. That's more important.
Exactly.
You're also an investor, right? You angel invest in companies. So, how has your experience been of investing into companies, into startups and all?
I have been not putting in my capital as of now.
Right, right, yeah,
Though I've been helping to invest, like
yeah, yeah,
since I run a syndicate, so
right,
through
right,
investing in that, right? So investing in companies, it's again the founder's gameplay,
yeah,
depending upon which the founders are, right? And also, investing is a bias game.
right.
People think if like he's being biased, bro, it's a bias
It's a
game. If I
bias
know
game.
you,
Yeah.
someone, yeah, then only I'll invest, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting in the money, so that's the thing. So when I say of investing in founders and all of that, definitely whenever we invest in, sometimes we do not know what the thing is,
Right,
right? Even the next founder which I'm thinking of, like first I have thought of something, right? When I'll starting soon my angel investment journey.
right,
So I know the founder which I'll be investing in the first,
right,
and it's not because I love his product.
right,
It's good.
right,
I still not much know about his product.
right.
The thing is, I know that guy from
Yeah,
like more than a year now, right? And I know how he pivoted the things, how he had been doing the things, how he has been behavior towards the people both who has helped him or who has not helped him.
right,
So that what the made the thing is, right? I have met him personally few times, so that is the thing.
right,
So that is the aspect, right? Being an angel investor is not about looking at traction.
right,
It's about looking at people who can bring out the traction.
right,
Even since it comes prior to VCs, right? I have heard from angels who say, we will invest once he go from his, smaller market to a larger market.
yeah.
And I say that's not an angel perspective.
That's not, yeah.
That's not what angel is for.
Right.
Angel by definition is saying that the angel will come and, help you in your survival
Right,
journey.
right, yeah,
And you are not helping in his survival, you are helping them in an expansion journey.
yeah,
They are already surviving at that particular point of
right,
time.
right, right,
So you can say you can be an investor, but for an angel, you come at when there is a dead end,
right,
when,
right,
when
right.
the founders need you the most.
Right.
That's what I have seen.
On the podcast with Rishabh Agarwal, even he said this thing that betting on people is more important than betting on the product. Because even if the
Yeah,
product goes to shit, the person is there. He will get back at it. He will build something much better, much greater.
yeah.
So that's more important.
I shared that founder with Rishabh, so he has invested now.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any advice you would give to students who want to enter the VC industry or the investment banking industry?
See, when we talk about entering into this, lots of people will say you get a CFA, get an MBA, right?
Yeah.
That's always good
Yeah.
if you are thinking right. That's not harm in that. But I'll say that's not the thing that if you say that they can only help you to get into that, that's
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
That what one of MD of a VC fund said to me.
Right.
Not of India, but a global VC fund,
Mm-hmm.
right? He said, "Bro, get an MBA, get a CF," and I said, "Now I'll prove you wrong." So that was the space when I entered to him, right? So that is not a prerequisite. The prerequisite is the skills
Right.
that you have. I always say degrees may provide you skills,
Right.
but skills will make you so much good that you don't need degree.
Right. Absolutely.
So
100%.
that's the place, right? So chase skills in terms of maybe financial modeling, maybe networking, anything that is required in a VC space. First, know what is required.
Right.
Do not aim, when you do not know where to aim.
Right. Yeah.
That's the aspect. So first know your where to aim,
Right.
then have the appropriate skill
Right.
how to aim.
Yeah.
It's not important whether you are aiming right or whether you are aiming wrong.
Yeah.
You will eventually get into that. It's a practice.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's in Indian culture we also we know Arjun, we know Karn, all of these guys.
Yeah.
They became masters by practice.
Yeah. Definitely.
But you can only practice once you know the skills, because it's about enhancing the skills,
Yeah.
not developing the skills.
Right.
So knowing the skills, knowing where to aim is more important. Then it's a practice game. How
Yeah.
long you practice, you will eventually end up.
Yeah. Direction is more important than hard work. You can even say that.
Exactly. That's the point.
Yeah. And also because I don't know the accurate statement, but Naval Ravikant says that if you need a degree to become rich in that particular domain, you'll not become rich.
Yeah. You will be rich in degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. And Jack Butcher, the co-founder, not the co-founder, the founder of this great brand called Visualize Value, says that you get rich by taking large amounts of risks with small amounts of money, and you stay rich by taking small amounts of risks with large amounts of money.
Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One small question I have. Do you think the system of earning money, of the entire system of money, it's rigged?
In terms of earning or managing.
Both. Let's
I
talk
think
earning first.
see, I entered into the VC space because I want to learn about managing money. That was my core motivation.
Right.
I feel like earning money is not that much difficult.
Yeah.
That is at least I think so, right?
Yeah.
Because I have been from a business family,
Right.
right? So I know a bit and few things, but how managing funds is a different thing. When you talk about my money system is pissed off and all of that stuff, I think there is to a certain extent, but managing is more pissed than if we say about earning. Right? Anyone can earn by lending his time, by lending his efforts, right?
Yeah.
But you cannot always manage money by lending your efforts or lending your time, because in earning that's possible that you are underpaid,
Yeah.
but in managing there is nothing called underpaid, right?
Yeah. True.
That's what, even if you lend your 24 hours time and you are not able to generate return, the same capital comes in, that means you haven't earned anything, that the time got wasted, right?
Right.
So that's what happens. So I think in terms of managing, it is more pissed than in terms of earning. In India, the people are generally underpaid as comparison to globally,
Yeah,
because of the
definitely.
population that the people have.
Yeah.
But I think that will get adjusted with the new technology that is coming up.
Yeah.
Because AI, you do not know what the things will happen,
Yeah.
right? They will take jobs or it will provide jobs. When you were saying about the next 5 things, you do not know what the thing was happening.
Yeah.
The few people would be the stuff who will lead that change,
Yeah.
right? Whether it has to take the job or not.
Yeah.
That was the point. So the thing is, again, earning, I think, is more easier than managing.
Yeah.
And I do not know what is difficult than managing right now, because I have to read that.
Yeah. Definitely. But about India, I don't know. But I think India is in a good position for the next few years. I mean, I think this report came out 2 days back about recessions in the world, and India was at 0 for this year, and the growth was the highest in India for the next few years.
See, as far as recession is compared, it's not recession in India,
Yeah.
right? But there is definitely a slowdown in that
Yeah,
case
definitely.
in terms of funds flowing, right? because the management and all of that, the FTX, the Web3 things that happens,
Yeah.
it not only made the Web3 uncertain,
Yeah.
it also raised a question about the next best thing that people were expecting Web3 to be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now people are saying what happens with the AI. Suppose AI becomes the next FTX,
Yeah.
right? So that is the point. So that is also made. Obviously, there are people who are betting on the things right now, also
Right.
including me, right?
Right.
So that's the point. But again, large majority of the people are driven by fear,
Hmm.
right? So that's what the thing is. That's what happened. And even yeah, right when that the thing that you said, I have read like Robert's books, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Famous ones. So that's an incredible book.
Yeah.
But common MSME in India, I think they chase money. That's why they set up the businesses, right? That's the point. And they are able to earn, though they are not able to scale that much because they don't have a larger vision.
Right.
Once they get a sufficient money, they get stopped.
Right.
But I think it always varies upon the hierarchy of the place or the disposable income that you hold in yourself.
Right.
If you're chasing 10,000 rupees, maybe you get like 5,000
Right.
and you are happy with that, right?
Right.
But if you're chasing a larger impact, then you try to fulfill that and the money keeps flowing. That's the thing.
Yeah. That's important. That's important. And also because financial education in this decade is very, very, very crucial. In
Yeah.
schools, it should be mandatory to make children learn taxes, make them learn money in general, the whole money.
I think what school taught me is discipline,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Post 12th also, I was waking up at 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that I think school was nothing. Though plus minus the basic maths and all of that is good.
Yeah.
But I think after a certain point, the school is just for teaching discipline, nothing
Absolutely.
else.
I agree with that.
That differentiates.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for doing this. Great conversation. I loved it. And we'll do one more very, very soon. Once your company makes great heights again, we'll do this once again, and then we'll talk about the next 5 years again about your company. Definitely.
For sure, man.
Thank you. If you've reached this point, thank you so much for tuning in. If you love this episode, don't forget to go follow and rate the podcast. I am your host Shaurya Sharma, and I will see you again very soon. Out.